Welcome back, folks, to the Long and Thick podcast, where your two deliciously scented uncles take you through a journey in time with some question and answer. Today we have about 7-ish questions that we're going to sort of jump through. We'll call it 7 to 9, sort of. It's somewhere in that ballpark. So we're just going to get right after it. Let's start with number 1.
Number 1.
What are the thoughts, ideas, feelings if PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, belong in CrossFit?
Yeah. So CrossFit sports as a whole, we kind of share the same mind on this. At this point, just run it. Most hyper competitive sport is always going to be wrapped in controversy anyway. It's always going to creep in a little bit. Someone's always going to try to get an advantage. The main thing, I mean, it's happened in the Olympics for decades.
Right.
Every year of the CrossFit Games, there's someone getting their wins rescinded, or, at this point, just let it run. Humans want to see the spectacle.
That's true. I agree.
If you have the ability to enhance what you're doing even farther, just let everybody do it.
Sure. Yeah. I think there's two sort of factions here. One is like, if you think about the high performance demands of these people, you don't daily your Ferrari, right? Like there's a reason you take it out and let it rip and go to the track, and you don't drive it like you drive the Corolla. To change the tire, all the things, right? The costs. Like,
spoiler alert, I also have a Ferrari and a Corolla in my garage.
That's right. He drove both of them here because
1 foot in each window.
PEDs. No, but like the demands are like the high pressure, high demand, high risk, high reward, right? Like it is extremely costly biologically. And so I think if anything, there could be two camps, one where it was more regulated and just clearly like allowed, right? Like, yeah, let's get the right cocktails in order and get people really grooving and dive more science into that, where it's like, gene specific almost to the athlete. And then another group that is just purely like, truly, you are not allowed to use them. And, those people will probably not use them anyway, because that is a separate camp of folks that are like, no, I want to be as pure and just like, what is my ultimate performance ceiling without any kind of boost? And I respect and admire both of those things. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, if and any kind of high demand thing, like, you might as well. It will probably lower the likelihood of something going horribly wrong, but there are other, costs to those things. But that's the nature of sport anyway.
Yeah, no, you are playing with your life and quality of your well-being by doing it.
You're ready.
The cost of entry.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And also, just to clarify, I am not suggesting everyone just go out and do steroids willy-nilly. That's not what I'm saying.
Of course not.
I would never say that. However, when we're looking at hyper-competitive sports as something to allow the craziest cream to rise to the top, as well as being an entertainment-based premise, I'm not calling people freaks, but people want to see the freak show.
Yeah,
they want to see someone obliterate records to do things they've never seen before.
Right.
And unfortunately, most of the things that have happened that we've never seen before were also on the backs of performance enhancing drugs.
Yep.
Like I said, the Olympics have been plagued by this decade after decade.
Dude, there's a reason.
And it's well documented. It's well scrutinized. Right. So it is what it is. There's an ugly underbelly to it.
Yeah.
We know it exists. It's never not going to exist.
Right.
There's always going to be someone to try to game the system.
Yep.
So
that's what I'm saying. Just like take it on and accept it and have there be more, regulation and governing bodies that are trying to do the best by the people involved instead of just make their hearts implode and whatever.
Right.
But
and again, if you want to run that risk,
go for it.
Then have an open class.
Yeah, but don't be a fucking liar and don't pretend.
Have an open class in everything, that these people are on a veritable pharmacy and just let these people go. And
duke it out.
I think everyone would be more pumped on that, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Nice one.
Moving on.
Next, how do you help create motivation in clients or patients or whoever dealing with depression when it comes to navigating?
Solid question.
Yep.
It's varied person to person.
Yep.
If you spend any amount of time with people and you see them kind of go through those chapters, everyone has different like keys and triggers to make them worse or kind of get their head above the dark clouds a little bit. More, I mean, it's such a cliche. just getting someone through a workout often helps.
For sure.
Because it might feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders.
Yep.
They can't see light anywhere in their life. If you got to talk it out, even if you blow half the session, just letting them vent.
Sure.
Be like, hey, let's just get a little something in.
Yeah.
They walk out of the door feeling better.
Yep.
Something is already intrinsically changed. They feel better. The endorphin rush, the little bit of strain on their body, it enlivens them, and they're better for it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that's not the cure-all. It never usually is. But just getting them to motivate to it is just trying to remind them without making the depression worse of like, hey, this is just reminding what the goals are.
Yeah.
And if you can't get all of the pieces in play, just pick one.
Yeah.
Take the smallest victory.
Yes.
And be able to hang your coat on that. Be like, we did that. We didn't get all the other shit done. That's
but at least
fine.
you still won today.
100%.
Yeah.
And then try to build off that. And hopefully for most people, they do find ways of kind of pulling themselves out of it and getting in a more well regarded path internally and mentally and emotionally, and then things can resume. And it's also up to practitioners to also be able to recognize that.
For sure.
That you can't just be like, oh, suck it up, leave it at the door. We're here to work.
Yeah, eat shit. You don't belong in the space if that's your attitude. I was gonna say, yes, along the same lines, like finding those small wins can be massively influential. Like the idea of making your bed and having that first, like, I accomplished a thing. So when I come back home and I see this is made, I feel good about like my space and how I'm setting things up. It's the same idea with putting your running shoes by the door and being like, I'm going to set the goal for, I don't feel like it, but I just need to hit a 5-minute walk. You're on the 5-minute walk and you decide, fuck it, I already made it 5. Let's just run it to 7. And then you hit the 7, you're like, oh, okay, I'm fine here. But at least you did more than you already set out to do. So that type of stuff can help just like bolster things along the way.
What about you? Like, what do you have to deal with directly in kind of navigating those waters?
I think it always gets more attached to like chronic pain and patterns that people are like looking for injury, looking for. I'm like, how are we doing since the last time? They're like, ugh, the same. And objectively, if I had them fill out like an oats form, which is like you said this originally, like you came in with this 7 out of 10 shoulder pain. Today it's like a 6.5. Technically we're getting better. And so sometimes you forget where you were a week ago, a day ago, whatever. Right. And so having some degree of, there's a great app, I think it's called How You Feel, and it has a whole like color array of different vocabulary and different like genres that people can use to see trends and patterns with. Like, I just hung out with people, I'm feeling energized but fatigued and like cloudy. Like you can like add this little cocktail of descriptors that help you see commonalities with like, just watched a movie, I feel anxious, I feel whatever, like and so you can see
kind of
some
like
of
on
those
a star plot kind of thing.
Yes. Yep. It just is like, okay. And there's not like good or bad. The colors don't mean anything. Like, so, I mean, they have a little meaning, like reds are like the more high energy or like anger or right. Like, so those types of things, but those can be really helpful just for having ways to check and see like, okay, I'm in this season where things just feel heavy. I'm anxious, I'm depressed, whatever, like stack up your little wins and just like find support and don't go at it alone. That will most certainly not help you.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, just to wrap up on that, it's if you can just show up and do any of the things that you have on your health, wellness, fitness to-do list, great. I mean, I have people sometimes that come in feeling super dejected, just the rigors of life, just, has not been kind to them. Yeah. But like, hey, I'm here. Yes. Like huge already. And, it can be a funhouse mirror when you look at your goals when you're in that mental state.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So it could look like you have all of these goalposts that are just light years away.
Yeah, they're actually leaving you actively.
Yes. So just pick one, put it right in front of your face, something that you can just attain quickly just to get the tiny little bump in positivity. Yep. If you can get another one that day, great. So like you said, sometimes it can be patterned, just like you get to one, we're 1 foot in front of the other. We start getting more wins. Great. If it's just one win, also great. Just try to reframe it. I mean, if I have people come in that everything is just so bad and so many like, okay, great. I understand that. I'm not taking, tell me something good. Tell me one good thing.
Find one little nugget. Yep.
Yeah.
It exists.
And then live in that. And they're like, oh, maybe there's other good things. Just change the frame. So I'll shut up now.
No, that's solid. I'm going to combo 2 questions and then we can landslide it into another. So,
oh man,
one of them is like the importance of nutrition for muscle growth specifically. And then another in terms of food and timing stuff is how important is meal timing for gains.
Sure.
So let's start with the timing side. How vital is it?
In my opinion, and what a lot of the data will also corroborate, is the timing of the meals is not actually important. It is your daily average, also combined with your weekly average. If it can stay consistent, all things created equal, it really doesn't matter when you eat. It doesn't change your metabolism at all. Excuse me. There's nothing to say that, 6 small meals will speed up your metabolism or be more effective. There are people that do respond better to like a pre-workout meal than others.
Sure.
There are people that have blood sugar problems that if they go into a workout, they push too hard. I mean, they could end up on the floor unconscious.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to navigate that yourself, make sure you're adequately fed. So nutrition and the timing of it, I think, is more so around your health.
Yeah. And
preference and how you feel. I do not like eating within 2 to 3 hours of when I lift, and I'll kind of structure my day around that. I don't want to feel anything in my stomach. And with the way my diet is, I don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about my body, like my bottom crashing out or fainting or losing any sort of lucid thought, thankfully.
Yeah.
Other people can't say the same.
Right.
So I would just say, the frequency of the meals has to be around to, can you actually see progressive overload? Are you getting the goals you want? Are you losing the weight that you want, if that's your goal? And can you sustain your day without feeling like a bag of dicks?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So beyond that, it's fully preferential.
I would add one nugget in there that usually is a follow-up question attached to that is not in here. That is the quantity of protein being capped at like a bioavailable amount. So in simpler terms, like, can you eat 100 grams of protein in a meal, or does your body only process X amount?
We have not really seen in studies the upper end threshold of what your body can utilize.
Right.
So anyone that says that like you don't need more than 40 grams of protein in a meal,
because then it's wasted. Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
What I will say that your body does like balance, in all of its macronutrients. So it's the quality and quantity of the meal is enormous. And you, with all of your choices, you get to 100 grams in a sitting, your body can utilize it. It's not just going away.
Right.
And what the problem though is, conversely, if you wanted to get, say, 120 grams of protein, but you only did it with 3 scoops of a whey isolate supplement
and a chicken breast milkshake,
that is going right through you.
Right.
So like you need to have some balance, and you should be prioritizing more protein than less protein, regardless who you are, man, woman, doesn't matter. That needs to be your thing. But there is not an upper limit that has currently been established for what your body can utilize in terms of protein in one sitting.
Yeah. So then the other piece of it is the nutrition importance for muscle growth specifically.
High protein and a good amount of carbs. Carbs are just as important in muscle growth, with glycogen restoration, actually fueling your muscles. So
it's vitally important.
Nutrition is vitally important because you need to be fueling your body to grow. I wouldn't recommend some crazy bulk either.
Sure.
That runs out of steam really, really fast and also does more harm than good.
Yep.
But having enough calories to support your fitness goals and your growth, as well as enough protein to support the muscle growth that you want, yes, is vital.
And rule of thumb for 185 pound male in terms of protein quantity daily.
Easy one is just a gram per pound of body weight, or a body weight you're trying to get to, like a lean body weight. The caveat is if they're cutting, I would actually push that higher to stave off catabolism. But yeah, somewhere in the range of a gram per pound
is
protein
a
body weight. It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Same thing for ladies too, which is harder for them to stomach, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Because most of my female clients, when I tell them what their protein should be,
it feels like substantial overeating.
Right. But it's not.
Right.
It is not. You need to feed the beast to grow.
Yeah. We'll sneak in another that's in the like food nutrition space. Best greens powder supplement for covering some of the things that those typically provide, and why AG1 is diarrhea fuel. That's
Why
my
is
own
it
little
diarrhea?
nugget. Yeah, it's basically the most expensive. AG1 in particular is the most expensive multivitamin that you can get. So don't waste your money on it. In all honesty, this is just
I have done various seasons of greens and reds powders. I have not found myself feeling markedly worse with any of them, but much like any other supplement, it is such a granular shift if it is even happening at all. I do get a good amount of greens in my diet already.
Yeah.
There can always be more. The problem with any of those kinds of things, though, is generally they're proprietary blends, and you don't really know what you're getting,
Right.
and in what quantities.
Sure.
So do your own due diligence, and again, your body's an experiment. Try one. They're not the cheapest of a supplement to experiment with.
They're not, especially when you have, it's always typically going to be provided in like a 30-day supply. So my solution is like, if you're wanting this and wanting something, why? And if you don't have a clear answer to what that is, then get blood work done so that you know what things you may be deficient in, so that you are not trying to throw like a huge net over, two fish, when it's like, hey, you really only need a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, folic acid or choline or something.
Right.
Yeah, and for sure, that's money better served for you. It feels worse up front, but imagine getting the clearest picture possible of the things you're deficient in, rather than blowing $150 on a green supplement over the next
That might be
3 to 5
disgusting
months.
and make you shit your pants and all those things. Yeah.
Right.
So I would
So
say I
I'm not
typically
condemning them.
Sure.
But it's one of those things that I don't utilize them consistently all the time. Can they have their place? Sure. But just like any other multivitamin, there's no conclusive data to say they actually do anything.
Sure.
Which is tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got impacts of cold exposure for recovery.
Depends on what kind of recovery.
I would imagine this is more in the space of hypertrophy.
It's a little bit diametrically opposed, unfortunately.
With pretty much like 2-hour window. So you go train within that 2-hour post peak inflammation window of training.
Yes.
Don't get in the ice tub.
Right. And there are asterisks if you are a high performing athlete, if having to constantly endure where you are not technically concerned with pure hypertrophy, but actually just being able to perform maybe 2 a days, 3 a days.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sure. Then you have to lower inflammation any means necessary.
Sure.
If you like cold exposure and contrast therapy just to make yourself feel better, just kind of physically, emotionally, mentally,
Yeah.
fine.
I think
that
it's
way.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. However, the data is not favorable into what cold exposure does in close proximity to hypertrophy training,
Yeah.
because it lowers muscle protein synthesis considerably. Is that really going to kill anyone's gains at the end of the day? Maybe not.
Right.
But if hypertrophy is your one and only concern, it is technically shooting yourself in the foot a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. I think, personally, I really love contrast therapy more from just like the mental side and the physical release and the challenge of going from like the extremes and just feeling that. But outside of that, I think, you pretty much nailed it. How about building muscle as an endurance junkie? Is it possible? Is it a good idea? What's the vibe?
It is possible. Definitely is possible. They are a bit at odds with each other, though, just because you're spending so many calories. You're spending calories and energy on one side, and there's plenty of hybrid athletes. We just did something about this. We're going to talk probably more about
In
it.
just 10 seconds.
Yeah. It's not implausible. The problem is if you're coming from a endurance background and wanted to get more muscle, you're at a disadvantage. Whereas if you just were not doing endurance, it took 2 to 3 years to build a muscle and then brought your endurance back up to a commensurate level, you'd be in better shape.
It's easier that way.
Correct.
Yeah.
So even down to a fibril level, you will have to retrain your body to bring in more of an anaerobic fiber rather than aerobic fiber in your muscles. So that's a tough proposition.
Yeah.
But it's not implausible. It's not even impossible.
Right.
It's just if you're doing it already from an endurance background, you will need to lift much heavier and eat more than you already are doing as an endurance athlete, which is a lot. It's a tall proposition. Or just change seasonally, focus a year or 3 on pure muscle growth. I mean, that's not fun for anyone. Like, oh, well, I like this and I'm supposed to take 3 years off. You can still maintain your endurance work, but the majority of your efforts need to be put into muscle building and then bring the endurance back.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
What about you?
I mean, I think there's nothing really else to add to that. Honestly, I think that really nails it. Yeah, it's here.
It's upon us.
It's fucking here. So what the fuck is Hyrox and why is it so wildly important to the world all of a sudden?
It's interesting the cult flourishing that has had. We will both go on record in saying that no matter what, anyone applying themselves to this level of fitness dedication and resolve is a net positive across the board.
Hands down.
So that's, we're not shitting on anybody. It is a bit culty. It's a bit fad like. Him and I both have not fielded more hybrid air quote athlete inquiries than we have probably in the last 6 months. Again, I've heard really good things culturally.
I agree.
About
very
Hyrox,
positive.
very positive, and how the events are run.
Yep.
Remarkably efficient, no snags, very positive experiences as well.
But also the name. So
this Ronnie just brought this to my attention today, and I asked him. I was like, "Can you Google that?" And like, "Can you re-Google that? Can we for just anything that we have to do to corroborate this?" Because we just did an episode about not being, pieces of shit and saying bad things out of turn. However, but I will turn heel on that very premise and saying that the origin story of Hyrox sucks actual shit. It's terrible.
So the name stands for Hybrid Rockstar, which just makes me feel like I am having Crayola crayons just melted down and poured into my ears like a little.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
People can defend it like, oh, what's the matter? It's just a name. Agreed. It's a terrible one. Origin story it's a terrible way to amalgamate two things.
Yeah, it's awful.
And that should, I think, whatever their PR or marketing people
just
should
get
do
rid of
is pay whatever they can to remove that from the internet.
Yeah, it's bad.
And have someone semi-intelligent make up an acronym.
You don't even need to. Honestly, I was more brought to the allure of it by like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's just a cool, like, weird name. Like
Fair.
Why is that city
just
named
keep
that?
it mystique only?
I don't know. Literally, yeah, that's all. Just leave it. It doesn't have to mean anything.
Fair.
Right? Like, what does that tattoo mean? It's a fucking goose with a coat on. It means it's a goose with a coat on. That's the end of it. Like, and that's on my thigh or on my leg. So that sucks. But moving on.
Yeah, the name does suck.
Yeah.
The premise, people applying themselves in it, getting fitter, getting healthier,
Beautiful.
having great communities while doing it. Awesome.
Yes,
name dog shit.
Yeah.
Or the origin of the name, dog shit, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, we got two more here. So next one. How do you progressively lift heavier over time? What is like, I think I'll rephrase a little bit. Like, how do you implement increases in your weight over time?
So I've gotten several questions lately, or even in conversation like, oh, you're big on progressive overload. Like, why is that? Well, plainly, it is the only way that you actually grow muscle. Mm-hmm. It's scientifically validated, clinically study validated. That is it. And then there's a lot of muddying of the waters in other industries. And someone's always gonna be like, well,
technically,
or this person looks like that and they didn't do that. And there's other things afoot there. Mm-hmm. Use your imagination. Mm-hmm. But quite simply, to progressively overload effectively is keeping your lifts incredibly simple, short, not a lot of, you don't need to be sitting there for 24 exercises in the gym.
Right.
Short, simple, efficient, track everything.
Yep.
Everything that you did, just add a little bit of weight or add a couple reps next time. if your reps start to get too high in a range where you start feeling a little bit more of a burn or a pump, some people love that. I'm here on record to say that you don't need that, and it's actually better that you don't. But as long as you get more reps, and then you can make more weight and more weight, that is progressive overload.
Yeah. So to even further provide an example, let's say I am bench pressing, and today I can push. How would I start to even assess if I put 135 on the bar and I can move it for 10 reps pretty easily?
Okay. So if you can move 10 reps pretty easily, I would say start at 155.
Okay.
Give yourself three straight sets of 8 reps.
Perfect.
With a decent amount of rest in between. That's another factor in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Is not just like having a 30-second interchange and go right back to it. Give yourself like 90 seconds, 2 minutes between sets.
Yeah.
And just do that.
Okay.
And then next time you visit, that's Monday.
Next Monday
and then,
I come back.
Yep. So if you do that, then do at 155, 3 sets of 10.
Okay. So now I've overloaded my rep scheme.
Yep. By 2 reps each set. So you've added 6 reps total. And then your next visit, you would go to 165 and see how it feels.
Sure.
You might get 6.
Okay.
You might get 8.
Yeah.
Try to get it back up to 10. Do it again. And it might not be a 10-pound jump. You might need to be a 5-pound jump by way of 2.5s.
Yep.
But that's it. And it's interesting when someone has never attempted progressive overload, and it's much more common than people think.
Yeah.
Like, well, how do you always get stronger? It's like, it's so remarkable if you just train that way.
Yeah.
Simple, track everything, and just know that every new visit, you need to move the needle forward a tiny bit.
Yep.
Even if it's 1 rep.
Yeah.
If it's 1 rep over 3 sets, that's still progressive overload.
Right.
Try to get 1 rep across all 3 sets, and then 2 reps across all 3 sets, and then more weight.
Yep.
That is how you build muscle. It's how you get stronger. It's that simple. People just overcomplicate it, or they're just constantly doing so much that they're only relying on physical feedback sensations to cue themselves that they're having a good workout.
Right.
Oh, I'm sore. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
None of that matters.
Yeah.
Track your data, progress that way.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Beautiful. Excellent. Fucking nailed it. Last on the list is, why do I break out after working out, even if I am washing my face or a body after?
That's a tough and potentially very complex one. It could have a lot of factors. Both you and I are also not dermatologists,
right?
But that can come down to hormones, genetics, stress response, diet, lifestyle.
Yeah.
If it's really only unique to working out, you said you had similar kind of scenarios with working out yourself.
Yeah. So like, I remember something that you can do is start to like you really have to make like a pretty detailed diary of the factors at hand. When is your skin the happiest? Hone in on what part of the body are we talking about? Is it like on your chest? Is it on your back? Is it on your neck? Is it on your face? Where are you having this breakout? If it's only after working out, what kind of workout are you doing? In what kind of environment? I mean, when? Like, I am more prone to breaking out if I have worked all day till 6 and then go to the gym, and even like don't come home and just straight up shower. Like if I sit down and eat, like the likelihood is higher. So just being mindful of the things that affect you is going to make a big difference. Make sure you're washing your hands, make sure you're washing pillowcases, make sure that things that you might not be thinking about that could be impacting that are accounted for. The dietary stuff gets funky again. It's really such a systemic response that it is hard to be like, it's chocolate, right? Like, or whatever thing. It's probably not a thing. It's a mix of things. So you really got to make a list to really understand what impact is being had, and take things out, add things in, see if you can see any types of trends in skin health when you do those types of things. What
would you say, to kind of hit that directly on the head, if it is only in the scope of I only break out after I work out, where would your head go on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's I would call that some kind of stress response. Like, what is a workout then? What are you doing? What's happening in that space that we need to investigate? I would say it really doesn't tell us why, but at least we can start to hone in on like what some of the mechanism could be. So really, again, it's just going to come back to like how how many factors can you remove to clearly highlight one or two pieces of the puzzle and make your changes from there, I would say is probably the non-clinical advice.
Golden.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Right on. Number 18, question and answers.
First one down.
First round.
Sweet. Well, thanks everyone for writing in. That's also awesome.
Yeah.
We
Feel
get to do
free
this.
at any time to shoot them over to us. We enjoy doing this for sure and hope that you find value in it and get some of your questions answered, or maybe it, had some other ones spark up as you're listening to this. Feel free to shoot them, DM them, whatever.
Dope. Another one down, long and thick.
That's right. We'll see you next time, fuckers.
Adios.